So we're going to use slope-intercept form to graph. And if you don't know what slope-intercept form is, you should go back and watch the other video that has been posted. But what we can do with this form is actually graph pretty easily once the function is written or the equation is written in this way. So let's talk about that real quick. So what we have here is an equation written in slope-intercept form and a coordinate graph. So looking at the equation, we can quickly discover the slope and the y-intercept. So our slope is going to be 2, and our y-intercept is going to be 1. Now, slopes are generally best used for graphing when they're in fraction form. So I'm going to actually convert this to 2 over 1 so that it's a fraction. Now, if you remember, slope describes how a line rises and runs. Okay? So what I can do with this information is essentially start at the y-intercept and then use the slope to find all the other points. So my y-intercept is 1, so I'm going to write that or draw that on the graph. And then I use my slope to tell me where to go to the next point. So 2 rise, 1 run. Rise when it's positive means going up, and run when it's positive means going to the right. So I'm going to go up 2 to the right 1 and put a dot. I'm going to go up 2 and to the right 1 again. Now, the other thing it can mean, though, is let's say they were both negative. Well, then my slope, being a negative divided by a negative, would be positive. So I can actually do the opposite of that, and I can go down 2, left 1, and as you can see, it falls in line with the others. And then once I've graphed those points, I can connect them to make my line. So that's the basics of how you use these equations to graph. Let me run through another one real quick and make sure that you've got it. So let's look at this example, and very quickly I can determine that my slope, or my m, is negative 2/3 and my y-intercept is negative 3. Now a negative slope is a little tricky, but it actually gives you options, because that negative sign is the same when I write negative 2/3. That's the same as saying negative 2 over 3 or 2 over negative 3. When you think about a fraction as a division problem, you understand why this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my y-intercept of negative 3, and that's where I'm going to start. Make sure you pay attention to those negative signs. And I'm going to use my rise and my run to determine where to go. So if I were to use this slope, it tells me I'm going to go down 2 because it's negative, and then to the right 3 because it's positive. So down 2, right 3 gives me a point right here. And then if I'm to use my other slope, same thing, just written differently, go up to left 3 because it's negative. I'm going to put a point right here. And if I was to connect these, I would see my line. All right. Now, this is an especially easy way when our equation is in function form to graph. I don't have to pick 3 points. In a situation like this, I don't have to find points that might work. I can make sure that my points land on grid lines, so that makes it a lot easier to graph. So slope-intercept form, probably the most useful way of graphing by using the slope, and the y-intercept, we can figure out where the line goes.